Hello there, my name is Ernest and I am the Gen Z analyst. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we are coming to learn about Microsoft Power BI and how to use this particular tool to analyze business data and derive insights that will support management decision making. So welcome to my channel. If this is your first time on my channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and why not like the video if you find it useful and consider sharing it. Alright, so this is the Microsoft Power BI interface. This is what you see when you open Microsoft Power BI for the first time. So we have this side here that shows all the reports and dashboards you have built previously, and we have collaborate and share here. So when it comes to Microsoft Power BI, see, people usually see Microsoft Power BI as a visualization tool. However, in reality, Microsoft Power BI is not just a single tool, but it is a collection of interrelated tools and services that form a complete business intelligence ecosystem on its own. So this is the Microsoft Power BI, but the Power BI is actually into three. We have the Microsoft Power BI desktop, as you are seeing here. This is what we are coming to use in this video. We have the Microsoft Power BI service, which is a cloud-based software that we use to share, and that is where the collaboration and the sharing happens. All right, and then we also have the Power BI mobile, the mobile app. The mobile app is for viewing reports and dashboards, and then for analyzing the dashboards. All right, so that is what we call the Microsoft Power BI ecosystem. So it is a complete set of business intelligence tools. So when it comes to business intelligence, Microsoft Power BI is the world's leading business intelligence tool that we have available. Alright, so being able to use Microsoft Power BI in this present age is as important as learning a tool such as Microsoft Excel. Alright, so if this is actually using Microsoft Power BI, then I would encourage you to download the Microsoft Power BI desktop. It is actually a desktop based app. All right, so in this video I'm going to use one of the most recent updates. So just search for download Microsoft Power BI desktop as I have here. The first link that pops up here, you see this was 14th October. That's the latest update. So you just click here. So that will open this particular window for you. So one good thing about the Microsoft Power BI is that it is a free software, and so anybody can download it and use. Alright, so come here and then download the latest version of your Microsoft Power BI. So you come here, click the download. Since I have it already, I'm not going to go through. Alright, so these are the system requirements here. We also have the installation instructions, so you can go through those things and then you see whether we'll be able to run the app successfully. Alright, so if you open, as I said earlier, if you open Microsoft Power BI for the first time, this is what appears. So you have your recently worked on projects or dashboards here, and then you also have collaborate and share, which when you click here, you'll be asked to log in using your school or work account. So just like we have in other Microsoft Office suite products, we have the file tab here, okay, where you can save as, get data, import, alright, and everything you have recent dashboards. So all these are all projects that I have worked on. Alright, now one of the advantages of Microsoft Power BI over other business intelligence tools out there, its ability to connect to numerous sources of data. All right, so we can just come here, get the, you see we have from Microsoft Excel, Power BI data sets, data flows, SQL Server, text or CSV file where you can even click on more. Okay, when you click on more, it will open a whole lot of data to. So this is all of them. Then these are categories. So I can come here, file. So these are the files: Excel file, text or CSV file, or the flat file. We also have the XML, JSON, folder. So when you have your data set in a folder, you can upload it directly into Microsoft Power BI for analysis, and then all that. Then we also have databases. So you have Access, SQL, SQL analysis, and all that. MySQL database. All right. Then Fabric. We have a host of, or we have numerous sources of data that you can connect to, and that is one of the. We have GitHub here. GitHub data, you can connect to GitHub data, LinkedIn, Sales Navigator. We have everything like that here. So alright, so this is the get data. So we have some of the specific sources of data that we have here. Then you can also enter your data. You create your own data by enter data here. We have the data, source of data. Then we have recent sources. Alright, so these are the data. These are the data sets. So these are the data sets I've worked on. Then we also have the transform icon here. The transform here will take you to a built-in app which we call the Power Query Editor. The Power Query Editor. The Power Query Editor, we do our ETL process. Okay, the ETL process: extract, transform, and load. So when you upload any, or when you import any data into Power BI, it will first go to the, you will have the option to transform the data in Power Query Editor and then load it into Power BI for analysis. So, and then we also have the visualization, the visuals here. Okay, so these are the visuals. This is what we are going to use to build visuals in Microsoft Power BI. So all of these are visuals that we have. So we have the bar and column, line and area, waterfall, funnel, scatter, pipe, donut, maps, gauge, card, KPI. So we have a host of data slices. We have table and matrix, AI visuals, and other. Then you also have what, get more visuals. You can also import your own customized visual from your computer. So these are the visuals that we have in Microsoft Power BI. You can also insert a text box, and then you can also come here and go to more visuals, either from an app source or from my files on the computer. Then we also have new measures, quick measure. These are used to create or build what we call DAX formulas, data analysis expressions. They are similar to Excel functions, right? Excel functions. So these are what we use. The new measure here is what we use to build or create measures and to build DAX formulas. All right. Then we have the insert tab, which contains basically the same thing. All right, it contains basically the same thing. So that is quite an introduction to the interface of Microsoft Power BI. We have view, we have optimize. You can explore all of these functions. And then we have this large space here that we have add reports. We have what, add data to your report. Once loaded, your data will appear in data pane. All right, so this is the data pane here. Right, it says when you load your data, it will appear in the data pane. So this is the data pane here. Alright, so when you upload any data, you will see it here. You see your data here. And then we also have the filters pane. The filters pane is for you to filter your data or your visuals after you are done building those visuals, right? And then we also have data sources here that you can connect to. So import data from Excel is the same thing we have here from get data. So you can use the get data, or when you have your Excel workbook, you can use it, or you can also paste data into a blank table. as you said, you enter your data and all that. All right. Then you can also try a sample data set. This also are coming to use for our purpose. So we will be using this in a jiffy. Then we have the left hand side here, which is what we call the views bar. The views bar, and there are three. There are three views within the Microsoft Power BI desktop. We have the report view, and this is what is currently showing. The report view is what shows us the canvas where we build our visuals and then our dashboards. All right, so that is the report view. The second one is the data view. Now the data view, so as you can see, when I clicked on the data view, our data pane expanded. So when I collapse it, you see that we have this here. So I can expand it, and then so when you upload any data, it will come here. The table within that data will appear here for you to see how your data is looking, whether it is in a perfect shape or not. And then also the last view is the model view. Now the model view gives you an overall view of all the tables within your data and how they relate to each other. So when you have been talking about modeling in data analysis, when you talk about data modeling, you are talking about the relationship, creating relationship between the various tables within your data source. That's what you are talking about when you talk about models, okay, in business intelligence, in data analysis or data science. So that is what we are basically referring to. So this is where we create relationships between our fact table and our dimension tables. Right. The fact table tells us a general overview of the entire data, whilst the dimension table tells us details of what is contained in the fact table. The more we learn about Microsoft Power BI, the more you understand these things. And formally, this visualization pane, these visuals were here. They came, I think, after so it was between the data and the filters pane, but now we have it as part of our home tab or the insert tab. So that is how the Microsoft's Power BI has evolved over the past few months. All right, so this is an overview of what data Power BI is all about. So why not connect to the data, and then we see the real power of this Microsoft Power BI desktop they are talking about. All right, so I'm coming here, try a sample data set. All right, so I'm going to click here, try a sample data set, and then it will open this dialog box for you. Two ways to use your sample data. You can watch a tutorial online, all right, or you can go ahead and then load your sample data. So I'm going to load my sample data. So whilst we wait for it to load, now it must understand that Microsoft Power BI is a powerful tool, and so sometimes when your computer is not that it's not a high spec one, it might take time to load and all that, as you can see here. All right, so we have the navigator. So this is the navigator. It gives you the opportunity to have a preview of your data set. So this means that it is a table. All right, this is a table. So I'm going to click here to have a preview of my data. So we have a preview of the data here. Now I want to look at the entire data and see what I can do about it. Maybe if there is any transformation I can do about it. And as I said, we do our ETL process, or we perform our ETL process in the Power Query editor. So to go to the Power Query editor, where we can have a better view of our data and see what transformations we can do to our data, we'll go to transform data here. So when you load the data, it will load directly into the data pane here for you to work on. But since we are not sure if the data is correct, it means the standards of a good data set, we want to go to the transform data so that we can know what transformations we can do to this particular data. So I'm going to my transform data, and then this will take us to the Power Query editor. So this is the Power Query editor, as we can see from the top here. So this particular tool is a very powerful tool. It is a whole uh, uh, tool on its own that has been embedded into Microsoft Excel as well as Microsoft Power BI, and it is used for transforming our extracting useful information and then loading it back into our data analysis tool for onward analysis and visualization. So this is our data. We have segments here. Now I think this is a financial data. So we have segments, as we can see, is financials. All right. So we have segments. We have country. We have products, discount band. So you can actually open the drop down to see. So we have the discount band. We have none, high, low, medium. Okay. Cancel that, and then I'll come to my units sold. So we have units sold, manufacturing price, sales price, gross sales. We have the discounts, sales. So I think this is a financial data. So we have our units that we have sold. All right. So we have some list of products here. We have segments. We have countries. We have products. We have the discounts, and then we have units sold. So we have units sold, and then with these units sold, we have the manufacturing price, or which is the product price or the production price, and then we also have the sales price here, and then the sales price multiplied by the units sold will give us the gross sales here. So we have our cost of goods sold, we have the profits here, we have our date of the transaction, we have month number, we have month name, we have year. All right, so this month number here, I'm not going to use it for anything, so I can delete it, and I can just come to my home tab, and then I say remove, or I can right click the entire thing and then I say remove. And one thing about Microsoft Power Query is a whole topic that should be learned on its own. But one thing I want to say here is that we have what we call the applied steps section here. Whatever transformation you are doing to or you are making onto this data is being recorded in the applied steps column here. What that means is that in case this particular data is for, say, 2022 2020 to 2022, and then by the end of 2023 we have that of 2023 data, all we have to do is that we just have to put this data into one folder, and then I'll open this particular Power Query editor, and all I have to do is to refresh. You see refresh here, refresh under the home tab. I can see refresh here. I'll just click refresh, and then it's going to add the new data onto my old data, and it is going to automatically apply all the transformations I've made to my 2020 to 2022 data to the 2023 data. So every transformation I've made to my previous data is going to be done to the newest data that I'm going to add to the old data. So that is the power of Power Query. It is a very powerful tool, and so it's a whole lot of things that you have to learn about this particular tool. It's very powerful, it saves a lot of time, and it gives you the ability to transform your data, extract relevant information, and then load it for analysis. Okay, so we have this. I don't think any other thing is needed here for us to do. Now we have units sold, and I can see some decimal numbers here which is not supposed to be sold, so I can come here and then I'll change the type to a whole number. All right, so I've changed the type to a whole number because we cannot have units sold as a decimal number. So I think with that we have everything set for us to analyze our data. Now let me look at the discounts here. Okay, so when you open your discount, you can see that we have a whole bunch of some of the numbers having plenty decimals. So I can come here and I can change it to percentage so that we have um, two decimal places here. And then we also have our sales. I'm going to change it to a whole number. Alright, so it will run everything together for me. I'll also come here, look at it and see if there is any decimals. So you have decimals there. I'll come here and then I'll change it to a whole number. Same applies to my profits. Whole number. So as you can see here, you can see that it is saying changed type. We're talking about the data type. Okay, the data type. That's what it is about here. Now all of these month, name, year can be extracted from our date. So when you come here, you have, when you click on your date, you can just come here, you come to transform, and then you come to date here. So you can see year. So year, you can see months, then name of the month. You can come here and say day, and then day of the week, day of the year, and all that. So you can use the Microsoft Power Query to extract any information you need from any of the data that we are having here. Alright, so with this, I think we are okay to go. So after I am done transforming my data and then I see that the data is okay for use, I will come here and then I'll say click on close and apply. There are other options. You have close and apply, you have apply, and then you have close. So I'll choose close and apply. So that will bring me back into my Microsoft Power BI desktop for us to do. And as soon as I upload my data, this particular information here is going to disappear because we now have data for us to. Now it is loading the data into Power BI, and as you can see it's creating connection in model. Now when you load data into Power Query for the first time, Power BI tries to create connections between the various data. In this particular example, the data is only one table. It's only one table, so we are just going to use the single table for our analysis. So there is nothing like connection or data modeling that we have to do. As we said, the data pane displays the columns of the data that we have. So we have all of these here, all the columns of our data that we can use for our visualization purposes. Also, you can come to the data view, and that will display all the columns of data for you. Alright, so it is loading. We are just waiting for it to load, and then we can see our data here. So this is our data. So this is our data that has been loaded to Power Query for us. So as you can see, the date here, we have Monday and all that. So I can just come here, click it, and I'm going to change the format of my date to a short date. And it's going to convert my date into a short date for me. And the country here, I'm going to change the category, the data category, into a geographical data. So this is a geographical data, so I'm going to change the country to a geographical data. So I'll come here, and this is country. So this is a country, and then we can do other transformations. So this is how you work on your data. So we came to the data tab, and then we are doing some transformations again within Power BI. Now this is going to help us to create our visuals. All right, so it is very important that we know what exactly we are working with. So this is okay. Our segment data, we have our products, we have our discount band, we have our units sold and all that. Price, now we have the price. Now this is our price. We don't sum our price. So when you come here, you see summarization. So I'll come here and then I'll say don't summarize, because the summary is talking about the addition of the things together, which means that if I want to work with my manufacturing price, it is going to sum the things for me. It's going to be a sum, reporting a sum of my prices for me, which I do not want. It doesn't make any sense. So that is it. Come here and all right. Then we also have the sales price here, which is not supposed to be summed. So don't summarize. I'll do same for my gross sales. Don't summarize. I'll do same for my discounts. So let me see. I think I can select the entire row here. So I can use my shift. Okay, doesn't work. So I'll come here. I'll do it for all the items that are not supposed to be summarized. Okay, so for my gross sales, they can be summed. So I can just come here and then I'll say sum. All right. So that is it. So I've done it for my sales price, my manufacturing price, as well as my discounts. They are not supposed to be summed. The rest can be summarized or they can be summed. So that is all. Let's check the year here. So I'm going to select my year, and then it is summing those because it is also a number. So don't summarize. And then the category is the data category here is gonna be okay. So we have that. I'll click here and then data category uncategorized. All right, so we are now coming to do the beautiful part of Microsoft Power BI. Now we have the model view here, which in this particular case is not something we can work on because we only have one table within our data set. So this is not much of a concern to us. All right, so in case we have different tables, we'll have um, keys. We call them primary and secondary keys. We have keys that we can use to link our tables together. So you can have, let's say, invoice number here in our financials for our sales data here, and then maybe you can have an invoice number in another table. So we can link those two tables using the invoice number, or some a particular ID number or something like that, employee ID number, something like that. So that's why we have the fact table and then the dimension tables, but that is not those are quite advanced. So we are going to take it step by step, and then we'll see how we are going to produce visualizations within Microsoft Power BI. So we come to our visuals here. Now the first thing I'm coming to do is to give my visual a very nice background. So how do I do that? I can come here, insert, and I'm going to right click here, and then I'll say format canvas, and then we have the background here. So I'll open my background, and then the color, choose this particular color here, and I'm going to set the transparency to 0 so that we have that. Or let me change my color to something more appealing, I can go to more colors, come here, and I can pick this lighter background here. Okay, I think that is fine. So I'll click anywhere, and then so I've changed my background. Now what you are coming to do is to insert a card. Now the card gives you the ability to view your some of the key data, key summary of your data. Okay, so we want to look at our total sales, we want to look at our total cost of sales, we want to look at our total our total profit, and then our total units sold. And what we can do is, on the home tab, I'll expand this particular column here, and then I'll come to card. You see, we have gauge, card, and KPI. So I'll come here and then I'll insert my card. However, I want to insert the multi-row card because there are different items that I want to insert. Okay, so we can explore each of. So you have card. This is the first one that came here, that was introduced by Microsoft Power BI. And then you have the multi-row card. It is a recent update, and this one too is a recent one. So let's look at the multi-row card and see what we have here. So with the multi-row card, we have different data that we can insert. So I'll come here and then I'll see add data or add fields. So the fields I want to add here is sales. I also want to add my gross profit. I also want to add my alright. So before we do that, let's do a little bit of calculations here. Now what you see, when I inserted the sum of sales and all that, it is summing them. That is what we did by summarization. If you remember, now when I said add data, it is summing some of my things here for me, but the formatting is very unfriendly. We cannot actually see very well. So what I can do is I'm going to close all of them, and then we are going to do what we call explicit measures. We are going to create explicit measures. So my card should be there, and then I'll come here, and then I'm going to click on my sales here, and what I'll do is I'll come to my home tab, and then I'll say new measure. So when I was adding just that figure, that is what we call implicit. The implicit measures, it's a default measure that Power BI tries to create for us, but it comes with limitations and all that. So to be able to have a better control over your own data, it is good that you create measures. Measures are calculated columns that you create, or calculations that gives you more control over whatever you are doing within. So we are going to call this particular measure total sales. So you have our total sales, and what I'm going to do is sum. Is the same as what we have in Microsoft Excel as functions or formulas. All right, so I'll use my tab key to select the particular one, and I want to select it. When I selected this, you see that our columns of data has appeared here, and what I want to do is I want to sum this particular sales figure. So that is our total sales, and I'll close my parentheses and hit enter. So I can hit enter, or I can select my mark icon here. So as soon as I did that, it has been created for us. So we can see total sales here. Now this particular total sales is selected. Now I want to insert this particular comma separator, so it can separate the values for us. So this is the control that we have over this particular data. Okay, so I've selected my comma, and then also I want to add my dollar sign because the figures are in dollars. So we have that. Okay, then we are going to do another for cost of sales. So I'll click on my cost of sales, or I can even click financials here, and then you can either click on the particular column or the name of the data. You click on it and then you come here, or you can also right click and then you see new. So we have it there. Okay, so any of them will work. So I'll come here and then I'll say new measure, and I want to calculate my total cost of goods sold. So it is loading. Let's wait for it. So our new measure is going to be total. So we have our total cost of goods sold, that is COGS, and I'll have my sum here. Select it with my tab key, and I'll select my from the drop down menu, and then I'll hit Alt and enter. So if you create it, you see that it will come here as, and then I'm going to apply the same formatting, $sign, and a comma separator. So when I inserted a $sign, it has also inserted a comma separator for me, so that's fine. And then we can also have a look at our total. It's working perfectly, selected as currency. And then we also want to see our, when I hover my mouse over the new measure, you see it says write a DAX expression that calculates a value from the table. Okay, so it writes a DAX expression for us. So DAX means data analysis expression. So we want to calculate our total profit. So we have our total profit, and that is going to be equal to sum, and I'll select my profit here, close my parentheses, and hit enter, and then change my format to currency. So that is what we have there. And then lastly, I would want to know the total number of units that we sold. So I'll come here, new measure again, and that's our last measure that we are coming to calculate, and that is our total units sold. So we have our total units sold, and that's going to be the sum. So in this particular case, we are just using sum. We have average, we have max, mean, count x, sum x. We have almost all the functions that we have in Microsoft Excel in Microsoft Power BI as DAX functions as well. So you can explore all those things on your own, and as you progress, you would actually see all of these DAX functions at work. So I'll click my OK. Now for the unit sold, this is not a currency, so I'm not going to select my currency. It's a whole number, that's okay, but I'm going to separate it using my comma separation. Okay, so we have calculated our measures, and we are coming to insert measures instead of the columns. So I'm going to use my measures here, and I can, since I have already selected my card, I can just tick the items that I want to select. All right, so I'll just tick them here, or yes, so we have that. So I'll select my visual, and I'll tick my item. So we're rather going to use the total units sold, which is my measure, and we have it nicely formatted there. We come here, and then I'm going to select my total sales. I'm going to select the next one, total cost of goods sold, and then I'll also select my total profit. So that is the multi-row card. All right, so let me just come here, and then you see, so we have it there. Okay, so we have all of those things there, and I'm now coming to resize this nicely. So this is kind of an aggregate of the entire workbook. So I'm going to resize it and put it here nicely. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a text box. Okay, and then I'm going to drag it to the top here. I'm going to select this one, drag it down a little, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my dashboard a name. So let me say the Gen Analysts Power BI dashboard. So I'm going to, let me say, financial dashboard. So the Gen Z Analysts Power BI dashboard, and then I'm going to select the entire data. I'm going to select the entire thing here, put it at the center, and then I'm going to increase the font size to 20. In 20 is not bad, and then I'm going to bolden it, and what can we do again? I can change the font color. So I can change the font color to something else. So I can change it to more colors, and I want to insert this particular. So that's the changing color I'm changing there. So I want to use this particular color here, and then I'll click OK. Fine. So we have the Gen Z Analysts dashboard. Let me resize this nicely, and then we are going to do a couple of transformations onto for our card. So as you can see, some of the values are very small. So I'll come to more options as we have it here, and I'm going to click on format. Okay, so more options, the three dots here, and then we have call out. I'm going to increase the size to say it is now 12. Let me make it 18. Good. Let me make it 20 with that. 20 with that. Let me make it 24. Good. So we have 24 there, and I'm going to bolden it. For the categories labels, I'll come here and also increase their, let's say 16, just so we can see it clearly. I'm going to italize them, and so I think that is fine. And then we can also come to cards. We have an accent bar which I don't want, so turn it off, or turn it on. So this is the accent bar at the beginning there, which I don't want, so I turn it off. And the background of this particular color, I want to make it this. So you can change the background color to any color that you want. So I think that this is okay, the light blue is okay, and I'll select my card again, and then I'll come to size and style. The height is okay, style is okay, background, I'll insert a visual border, visual border. For the background, I can turn it off. Alright, so we have that. So this is our card. Now we can see that we cannot actually see the category labels. So I'll select my card again, and I'll come to my category labels, and I'm going to change the color, the font color, white, so we can see it. And then my callout value, I can also change the color to white. Let me see. I think that is not okay. So let me change it to black. I think black is fine. Okay. So let me remove my the border. So I'll come here and I'll remove my border here. And the last thing we want to do is to add a title. So I'll turn on my title, and the title I'm going to use quick overview. Okay. Or so I'll just say quick performance overview. Quick performance overview. So we have our quick performance overview here, and what I'm going to do is to change the font size to, I'm going to change the font style to Sego UI. I usually like this particular one, and I'm going to change the to maybe 18. Good. And good. I'm going to bold it. No, this is too visible. See, when it comes to visualization, in as much as you are adding your own fields, your preferences and all that, you should make sure that you are always communicating the key information that is available on your data, because at the end of the day you are going to use those data or the analysis you are making to make decisions. So you should be able to understand your data and bring out some of the salient points that we need to make our decisions. So you shouldn't allow anything to interfere with the major information that you're trying to communicate. Now, the next thing we want to do is to analyze our sales information by geography. So we want to see, when we look at our data, so let's go to our data. When you look at the data, you could see that we had countries and we had our sales information, right? So I want to know what the amount of sales that we have made. So this is our sales value, the amount of sales we have made in each of these countries, which of the countries are selling more and which are selling less. So I'll come back to my report view, and we are going to insert a map. So I'll come to my visuals, and then I'll select a map here. So this is the map visual. I'll select it, and I'm going to resize it. So let me actually hide this, and I'm going to resize this nicely here. Information. So let me put it right here. Resize it. And What am I going to do? I'm going to add my data. So what is my location data? My location data is the countries. So I'll open my data, and then you see that because we have from our data we have converted it into country, so it has recognized it as a geographical data. So I'll click and drag, and then I'll put it inside my country here. All right, now I want to analyze the countries by, so you can see Mexico. So this is actually North America. All right, so we have Mexico, then we have Canada here. All right, so that's enough. Then we are going to analyze this. We want our bubbles here to be the sales amount, the amount of sales we are making in each of these countries. So I'm going to click and drag my sales amount into the bubble size, here. So as soon as I added that, you could see that the bubble size have increased, and when I hover my mouse over this, I'm going to have my figure popping up. Okay, so to make that a bit easier, I'm going to click and drag my total sales again into my tooltips. All right, so since I've done that, I will have what our country here. So if I hover my mouse over this, it's supposed to be appearing. So don't worry, it is supposed to appear, so we can see the value of sales that we have made in each of these countries. So this is how we analyze our sales data by country, and by default you can see that the map visual has already given me a default title, but I'm going to change it. So I think it's come now. So by default it has given me that, but since it's the same information that we have for the bubble size and then the tooltip, I'm going to disable the tooltip one, and we have only those two things here. All right, so that is it. So I'm going to the visual here, and then I'm going to format. So this is the format, we have it here, or you can also come to the three dots here, and then you come to format, and then you will see the format here. Now I'm going to format my visual. So I'll come here. For my title, it's already on. I'm going to edit it. So total sales by country. Let me see. So I think that is it. Total sales by country. That is fair enough. So we have total sales by country. That is fair enough. However, I want to change my font to Sego UI. I like that. And I want to increase this font size a bit to perhaps 15. That's okay. And I want to italize it. Put it at the middle. And so I think that is fair enough. So that is it for the title. And then we have other options that we can explore. We have the category labels. You have the bubbles here. You can decide to increase the bubble size or reduce it. So I can come here. So this is the bubble size. I can decide to increase or decrease it by dragging this. So you see that it is increasing for easier navigation and all that. But I think this is okay. Alright, so that is quite okay. Then the color, I think this color is just fine. So that's the color, it is just fine. Or let me use this deep blue. The deep blue is okay. So we have the bubble size, and then we also have controls here. So you can set controls, auto zoom, you can add in zoom buttons, so as I've added a zoom button, here it is. So I can decide to open it here, see, so that we can have all the countries there, or I can decide to put it together. So when I inserted a zoom button, we can see that it has categorized the map into continents for me. So we have North America, where we have Canada and Mexico. We have South America, we have Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and then the oceans around here. So that is what we have for our map. So this is just a quick guide, a quick introduction to everything you need to know about Microsoft Power BI. So you can explore some of the other elements within our data. So let's continue. So after that, let me minimize this map here. Good. Then let's look at our data and see. So let's look at our data and see what we can do again. We want to insert a line chart, and then we want to see how much profits we have been making over the past years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a line chart, and this is my line chart here. So I'll click my line chart, and it has come here as I want it to be. And I want to, for my x-axis, I want to put my year there. So the years, so this is my year. I'm going to put it into my x-axis, and I want to put my total profit into my y-axis. Then we have a straight line there. So it means for the past 2 years it has been trending over the period. But let me remove my year data and rather put my date into the x-axis. So I think this is better. So I'm going to put this, and then I want to format it. So this is exactly what I want: total profit by date. So I want to change everything there. So I'll come to my format here. Let me close this, and I want to change background, no background. Good. And I also want to format the lines, solid line, that's okay. And then for my colors, I want to change it to another color. So I can come to more colors, select this color here. I have that deep green there, that is fine. And I want to also, let me see my data label. Okay, so the data label is not necessary, but you can add it whether you want it or not. I want to add a trend line to my line here, and I want it broken as a broken line, but I want this color for it. Good. So I have that, and everything else is okay. Everything else is okay. You can explore. So we have some forecast line here that you can see how the data is going to trend over the next few years. So that's the prediction for 2015 year. So we have that. All right. So we have our things there, and that is it. And I want to change my title here. I want to edit it a little. So total profit over time. So it's supposed to be over, okay, over time. And I want to change this to Sego UI, italize it, and I want to put it at the center. So this is just our total profits, but we can decide to add data. Let's want to see how our sales have trended over the period. So I'm going to click and drag my sales there. So the sales is the blue color, and I want to format that blue color. Oh, it's fine. I think the blue color is perfectly okay. So this is our sales trend, and this is our profits. So to be able to know which is which, I'll need to add enable my legend. So I'll come to the formatting here, and I can turn my legend on. So this is my legend here telling me which is which. So that is okay. Now let's look at our segments. So we are coming to look at our segments here, and let's look at our data. So we have our data here, and we want to analyze our sales by the product segment, which is the product segment here. So let's look at our data and see what is there. So I'll open my data, and we have the products here. So we want to see which of the products are the top selling products. Okay, the top selling products. So we can expand it here, and then so we have this and that. So how many are they? We have 1 2 3 4 5 6 products that we are selling here. So we have that, and we want to know the top 5 selling products. Okay, the top 5 selling products. So what do? We will come to let's put it in a table form. So I'm going to insert a table here. I want to add my products, and then my total units sold first. So this is my total units sold, followed by my total sales, and then my total profit. Okay, now we want to know the top 5 selling products. So how do we do that? The top 5. So what I'll do is that I'll come to the filters tab here, and we see filters. So I'll come to products, and then from the drop down menu here, I'll collapse it, and then or I'll expand it rather, and then I'll go to the basic filtering here. I'll click the drop down, and then I'll pick top N. So picking top N, I'll say top 5, and then by what value do you want to sort your filter the data? So I want to filter it by my total units sold, total sales, or total profit. So which one is so more important? So I want to filter it by my total sales. That's what I want to filter it. So I'll click that, and then I'll say apply. And there we have it. We have our top 5 selling products. We have our top 5 selling products. And let me see what we can do about it again. So now that we have that, I can resize this nicely. So that is it. I'll come here, format, and for the title, I want to turn it on, and I want to say top 5 or sorry, top 5 selling products. Top 5 selling products. So I have that there, and I want to change the font as the usual thing, the font size. and then also I'll put it at the middle, italize it, and send it to 15. So that's fair enough. Right, so we have all those things there. For the background, I would want to um, try a few ones here and see how they will do. Okay, so I think this is okay. Let me select this. Okay, so you can explore all of these features. So the style here, you can see bold header, which you have the header to be very bold. That looks a bit okay. And then you can explore other ones: condensed, bold header, flashy rows, and all the contrasting, alternating rows. You can explore all of these features. So this is what we have here, and the next one we want to build is the let's see our data and see. So we want to insert a tree map. So a tree map is used for categorical data analysis. So as you can see, it is for categories, as you can see here. So looking at our data, let's look at our segment. So I want to put my segment into the category, and then for the values, we want to input total sales. All right, we have our total sales, and for the sales from here, we can see that categorically government is selling more, and followed by small business, enterprise, mid market, and then we have channel partners. Okay, so we are going to let me expand this a bit just so we can have a feel of coming to format here. For my background, I want to use this here. That is okay. So I'll use this particular background for it. This is okay, and then I'm going to, for the colors, government, I want to change the color to this deeper blue, deeper orange. This one, I want to change it to this deeper. For my enterprise, the blue here. For my mid-market, I want to change it to this green. And for my channel, I think that is better for the channel. So I have that. Okay, now the last thing we want to do is insert a timeline and slices. So the first thing I want to do is to insert a slicer. This is what we call a slicer. Slices work just as filters work in Excel. Okay, so slices are also in Excel. So to be able to filter and dice your data, to be able to slice and dice your data, we use what we call the slicer to do that. So I'll insert a slicer. I'll come here. For my slicer, they are going to be 2. So I'm going to come here and then let me resize this nicely. Let me resize that nicely, and I'm going to add data, and the data I want to add here is the country. Okay, so let me select my country here. So in case I want to see how my countries are performing, each of the countries, I'll just select each of them. Okay, so this is my first slicer. So let me resize it a bit again. So in case I want to remove anything, I'll just say clear selection here using that particular, so that my data becomes normal. But I want to format it. So formatting, I want to change the background color to perhaps this here, and for the values within my slicer, I want to change their color to white, and their background, I want to change their background to this green. You see how it will appear. This is let me change it to blue rather. Change it to a lighter blue, like this one. Good. Now the last one I want to add is going to be based on our date. So I'll come here, drag and resize it nicely here. Resize it nicely here. And the data I want to use, is the year data here. So I'll select it there, and I want to move it to this particular one. That is okay. And then I'm going to apply the same formatting here. So I'll come here and select format, and for my background, I want it to be here, and the title should be on. So I have my title there. For the values, I want them to be white here, so I can see them. I want to change the color, font color to be white, the background color to be this light blue, and the slider, which we are having the color of the slider, I want it to this blue here. So we have all of these at our disposal that we can actually explore. So we have all of these here. Slicer settings, you can do it as a vertical list, you can do it as a tile, you can do it between and all that. So in case I select tile, so we have a tile there like that, or as a drop down list, or you can also select it as a vertical list or between, which is okay. So we have all of these here that we can explore. All right, so let me change the font color. um, so you can actually perform all the things that you want to perform on your analysis, and that is going to be according to your preference, how you prefer your dashboard to look like. However, you must note that no matter what kind of editing you are applying, you should always make sure that your key points are being communicated within your dashboard, so that anybody who sees it will be more focused on the data and not on the formatting. Okay, all right, so that is it. So this is how we prepare a simple dashboard in Microsoft X and Power BI. So first, what did we cover in this particular? We covered how to prepare or build the card visual, which is the multi-row card. This is the newest card within Microsoft Excel. We formatted, we even applied our DAX formulas to calculate measures that helped us to have control over our data. Now, the last thing I want to do before we continue is, or before I close, I want to add the figures. I want to make the figures visible in our tree map, so that when I look at the government, I don't have to hover over the before I can see the tooltip that government total sales is 52 million or 52.5 million dollars. I have to look at it from, so I'll come to my legend, or to do that I'll come to my data labels and then I'll turn it on. So we have 52.5 million and all that. So this is how we call it. Another video, I want to format, the values are too small, so let me format it to say 15. Good. And even the categories, the category labels, I want to format them to say 15 as well. Good. So we have everything set for us, and so we have that. So this is how we prepare a simple dashboard in Microsoft Power BI. Thank you very much for watching this video, and consider subscribing for more videos. I will be touching on more advanced concepts or topics within the Microsoft Power BI. As I said, it is a very great tool to have in the business field. So if you are a business person and you have this great tool at your disposal, then you are a hot cake within your field. All right, so thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you again in the next video.